Hello ASS, welcome back to a new video. As you could tell by the title, today I am going to be reading some more stories that my subscribers sent me in. So if that is something that you do want to see, of course keep on watching. And if you are new here, hi, my name is Brenda. I go by Beyond Belleza. If you would like to join my little community of Belleza, all you have to do is subscribe down below and turn on your post notifications so you do not miss a new video. Also, do give this video a huge thumbs up if you end up enjoying it whatsoever, because it really does help out my channel a lot. And with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. Okay, so luckily for me, I am able to have some time to film during the day, so I'm not gonna be scared at night, so we're all good. Okay. Alright, let me go ahead and pull up the first one. This one is by Yasmin C. Says, hello Brenda, I wanted to share an experience I've had in my home. So when I was around 14, I was sitting in my room at home in my bed doing homework. The only other person in the house at this time was my mom, and she was in the room all the way across the house. For some odd reason, I felt something looking at me from the room opposite to mine, and when I looked from the corner of my eye, I saw a little shadow, and decided to start recording with my phone, because I did not want to scare whatever was looking at me. At first, I thought it was my little cousin, but then I realized my cousin was not home. The second I started recording and looked at whatever was staring at me, it left. If you look closely, it looks like a little child. We did some digging into who previously lived in the house, and we never found anything. My mom believes it was a duende, but I really cannot be sure. It really scares me to this day, but luckily we have not experienced anything since then. That's really creepy. Hopefully it's not a duende. Plus, it would probably be a lot smaller, like tiny, insignificant. You probably wouldn't even see it, but that's creepy. And then she includes a video that I'm gonna watch right now. It's a little like 3-second thing. You can see something. What the fuck? Whoa, that looks so weird. I'll like keep playing it. It literally, you could see like the outline or the shape, basically the silhouette. You could see the silhouette of something, and it just ducks down basically. That's super creepy that you were even able to catch that. And I'm like, how do you just like hang out with your door wide open? I always make sure that mine is shut. I don't know, that's just how I've always been. I like leave it at least like a little bit like emparejada, you know, just so I can kind of see who's coming in. But at the same time, I'm not imagining like figures in the darkness, because I know my mind likes to play with me like that, so I'm not about that. But that's really creepy. Thank you for sending in that story with that video included. At first I didn't see it, but if you look closely at it, you guys can go like back to where I first played the video. You can obviously tell that something like small kind of ducks back down or disappears into the darkness. Super creepy. That one was really good. Thank you, Yasmin. Okay, so this next one is by Wendy, who already has submitted a story before to me, so thank you so much again for sending me another one. She says, hey, I would like to give you a big thanks for including my first story in your recent video. You're welcome, girl. Thank you for sending them in. She said, I hope this other story could be a bit longer and scarier, haha. Well, the experience begins when I was maybe 11 to 12 years old. I was living at the one-bedroom apartment, so my brother and I would sleep in bunk beds. He would sleep at the top and I would sleep at the bottom. One night, my mom made us go to bed like around 9 p.m. because school was the next day and she didn't want us to sleep late. While we get ready and do our night routine, and my mom closed the door and we were left with a nightlight. My brother fell asleep as soon as we got into our beds, but I wasn't sleepy. I was just laying facing up, looking at the top of the bunk bed. I ended up turning to the right side of the bunk bed, and as soon as I turned around, I see a little girl standing beside me. It traumatized me so much that I still remember how she looked like. Of course, I wasn't able to see her face. it was blurry. But she was wearing a pink dress with a white long sleeve shirt and had short black hair. Seeing her beside my bed made me freeze for a few seconds, and I gained courage to face the other side of the bed and give my back to her. My heart was beating super fast and I didn't want to turn around, but I ended up turning around slowly to check if she was still there, and to my relief, she wasn't. I ended up sleeping facing the wall because I was too scared to even sleep facing the side to where I saw her. The next day I told my mom, and she told me I should have blessed myself with the name of Jesus. We're Christians, so we believe in demons and everything of that sort. Here's the scary part. 2 years later or so, I come back from school and my mom asked me if I remember the experience of me seeing the girl, and I told her yes and asked why. She seemed hesitant to tell me, and I kept insisting. She told me that if I promised I don't get scared, she would tell me the reason why she asked. So I promised I wouldn't. Well, she ended up telling me that while we were at school and she was at home, she felt the need to pray in the living room. And while she was praying, she opened her eyes and saw the same girl running from the hallway that leads to the room and to the kitchen. And when I tell you that the moment she told me that she had seen that, I got instant chills. Now I know that normally things, like demons, like to take form of someone you know or even children. So by the time my mom saw the entity, I knew it wasn't a girl, but a demon. From that first time since I saw that thing, I never slept without pillows on the side of my bed because it scared me so much that I sometimes think that I will see it again. Hell no. That is super creepy. I don't even know how you could even try to go back to sleep, and I especially wouldn't want my back turned to it because I don't know, I feel like that would scare me even more. I think I would end up just freezing the same way, but I would close my eyes and I would still be facing whatever this thing was, and I know that I would just not be able to turn my back on it. And I feel you on having to have like things blocking on both sides. I also sleep kind of the similar way because I'm always just scared of the edge of the bed, and I feel like by now I should have outgrown that, but no shame, I am still scared of that. So, you know, I get it. Okay, but yeah, girl, that was super creepy. Hopefully it's like a harmless sort of spirit. I don't know if you still live or if you're still experiencing this to this day or live in the same area where you experienced that, but if it's a demon, no ma'am, not today. Alright, and then she included a second story, and it says, this is the second story and it's up to you if you would like to include alone. Okay, it says, but this one is also the time my mom had brought a haunted baby doll into our home. Why would she do that? Is she crazy? Okay. This is also the time we lived in the bedroom apartment. See the pattern? Or a one bedroom apartment. I was always in the apartment that would spook. Anyway, my mom loves dolls, so one time she had brought a baby doll from a thrift store. Why did I say that like that? We didn't think nothing of it because we had more dolls and we had never had any paranormal experience relating to them. From time to time, I would constantly feel scared being alone, and it hit more when I would shower. Every time I would shower, I felt a presence on the other side of the shower curtain, and I just wouldn't feel comfortable. And this wouldn't just happen when I was alone. I would feel like that even if everyone was at the house. So what I would sometimes do was I would bring my little sister and bring her toys to keep me company because the feeling of being scared was so bad that I hated taking showers. Time passed and suddenly that feeling went away. I told my mom how I felt a few years after moving from that apartment, and my mom told me that she felt the same way when she would take showers. She felt something was in there, and she also hated taking showers alone. So I asked her why we would feel that way, and she told me the reason we felt that way was because of a doll. Oh girl, she's putting these ideas in your head on top of bringing that doll here? Hell no. Okay, where was I? Again, we are Christians, so ideally the best thing to do was pray. And that's what my mom did. She prayed asking God if he could show why she felt so scared all the time. And eventually, through a dream, God showed my mom that the doll had an entity lingering that was bothering her and me whenever we would feel super scared. So she threw the doll away, and that's when the feeling of paranoia and scared all left. Pretty crazy, huh? Hopefully these 2 stories are scary enough to send chills through your spine. Haha. Thanks again for your time, and hopefully I end up in the video again. Have a great day or night. Thank you so much, Wendy. That was super, super scary. I hate dolls, not just for that reason, because just alone, like if I didn't have any sort of paranormal attachment to dolls, I would still be scared of them. As I think I've said this a bunch of times, I only like stuffed animals. Everything else can, basically. But super scary. I don't even know. Well, I guess if your mom liked dolls, she wouldn't immediately be like, yeah, this doll, this one's haunted, I'm gonna buy that one. Because I know that people purposely buy dolls that are haunted. And I'm just like, no, I don't know how you can do all of that. But anyway, thank you again, Wendy. I really enjoyed both of those stories. They were indeed scary. Alright, let's do our 3rd story here. And she said that she would like to stay anonymous, so thank you in advance to this person who sent me in this story. She says, "Hey Brenda, first I wanted to say I love you and your videos." Thank you, girl. I love you too. But this story happened when I was in 3rd grade. I'm a sophomore in high school now. So this happened about 7 years ago. At that time, I used to live in a trailer, so it wasn't spacious at all. I used to sleepwalk a lot when we lived in that trailer. So that night I was sleepwalking into the living room / kitchen. It wasn't that late, so my parents were still awake, but they had turned all the lights off and were watching TV. They saw me walking towards them and tried turning me around to go back into my room. When my stepdad put his hands on my arms to turn me around, I started yelling, "I see a white light." Knowing my Mexican superstitious mom, she starts freaking out thinking I'm literally dying. But then she began to talk to me and calm me down. I then fell asleep. The next morning, my mom and stepdad start asking me tons of questions like, "What did you see? ¿Cómo te sentías?" or "How did you feel?" And I had not remembered anything at all. A few years later, my mom reminded me about the situation. I began remembering what had happened. I now remember seeing a white figure or like a body gliding behind my stepdad. I don't know why or how it happened, but thank God nothing has happened since. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for sending it in. That was really creepy. I wonder what that could have been. Because if it was just like maybe like a spirit, because I feel like when I think of spirits, it's always like some kind of like glowing light or glowing like aura sort of thing. So maybe during your sleepwalking, since you're kind of in another state of consciousness, it could have been something like that, like you just so happened to see a spirit. You didn't mention this, but whether you still sleepwalk a lot or if it has subsided, or if you still do it and then nothing like this has happened, maybe you just got a little peek into something that you hadn't before, and that's why it freaked you out. In the back of your mind, you were aware of it somehow. But yeah, that's really creepy. I've never experienced that. Obviously, I never have slept walked, but it's always been really intriguing to me. I'm just like, I wonder why the body does that. I'm pretty sure there's some kind of like scientific neurological explanation for it, but still, it could be dangerous and just scary overall. Anyway, thank you so much again for sending it. I think I said that like 14 times. And I will do one more story because I feel like my videos have been short when I only do 3 stories, but like maybe like 16 minutes or so. I don't know if that's long for you guys, but for me it feels a little bit short because when I watch these kind of storytelling videos, I like to have it on while I'm doing a task, and then I'll have I don't like going to go look for a different video, you know what I mean? So let me adjust my seating here. It says, "Hey, I hope you see this. I would like to stay anonymous." Oh, I'll cut out the part where I said the name. "I would like to stay anonymous if that's okay. I have 3 stories to tell you. I love your spooky videos." Story number 1. In April, my cousin and I decided to play a game called Evelyn on Roblox. This game had 2 chapters. My cousin lives 1 hour away from me, so we were on a call. My house has 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. In the front of the house, there is the living room, then the dining room and kitchen. Then in the back, there is a hallway that leads to the bathroom and the 2 bedrooms. I was in my room, which was at the end of the hallway. I was on my bed, and if you sit on my bed, the door is in the front. The hallway turns to the bedroom like an L, and there is a closet outside of my room. I was sitting on my bed facing the door, and I looked up and saw something short in a white dress run from the closet to the bathroom. I was too scared to get up to check, so I stayed in my bed and I didn't say anything to my cousin. When we finished chapter 1 and joined chapter 2, once I joined, I saw someone peek through my door, and when I looked, it went away. I didn't think much of it. Once my cousin and I were done playing, we hung up, and I was curious and went to ask my little sister. She's 8. I asked her if she went to my room to peek. She said no. So I asked my older brother. He's 16. But my sister said he hasn't come out of his room. I got a bit scared, but I didn't think much of it anymore. Definitely weird. I always think I see stuff in my peripheral vision, and I feel like it's always just something that you could possibly imagine, just because if you look at something real quick, or if you look around too quickly, it just looks like there might have been something there, but I don't know, it could have been something. I need a sip of water. Good stuff. Story number 2. One night I was in my room and it was 3 a.m. I had to go to the bathroom, so I got up to go. From the hallway, if you look straight down the hallway, it looks really scary and dark. All the lights were off besides the hallway one. I looked straight down and saw a little girl in a white dress just standing there, looking at me, but her face was dark, so I couldn't see anything. I got scared, so I ran to my room and fell asleep. The next day, my brother and I were talking, and I said that I saw a little girl in the living room. He then told me that he had seen a little girl as well. When he told me that, my heart sunk. I haven't seen the girl anymore. That is so weird that you guys both saw it. So it definitely had to be something. It had something to do with that first time that you saw something white, especially if she was wearing a white dress. Why are these ghosts always wearing white dresses? They don't have a really wide variety of clothing in the afterlife, apparently. But connection? I think so. I think you're onto something. But you haven't seen her anymore, so I wonder why that is. I wonder why you have these experiences for literally like maybe just once or twice and then it never happens again. I wonder why. Or do they move on? Like, what is going on? You know, I want to know. I have a lot of questions. Alright, so they have another one. It says story number 3. When I was in the 4th grade, I would see a shadow of a man in my room, but I didn't think much of it. I went to school one day and I told my best friend. She lived in front of my apartment. When I told her, she said she also sees a shadow of a man. I don't see him anymore, and I hope I don't. Thank you for reading some of my kind of spooky stories. I hope my stories made sense. Yes, they did make sense. Thank you for sending it in. That last one, with the shadow of a man, was it like inside or? Yeah, when it comes to these experiences where you guys tell me that you have seen it like here and there one time and then you don't see it again. And the thing that I always see, which is a reoccurring thing with these experiences, is that people never think much of it because you honestly always want to go the safe route where you're like, there's an explanation for this, it's probably just this, or you try to make sense of it in your head. And I feel like sometimes it is just like a one-off chance that you might have imagined seeing something or imagined experiencing something, so that's why it only happened that one time or like 2 times and then it never happened again. But that is not me disregarding your experiences, because if you feel like there was something off, it most likely was, and there's really just no way to explain it. And then once you ignore whatever these entities are, I feel like they don't, if you pay them no mind, then there's no reason for them to continue trying to show themselves, basically. Which is why I feel like sometimes people only have 1 or 2 experiences, is they acknowledge it, they show fear for it, and then these entities are like, okay, I think I reeled them in a little bit, but then you in your own head, you're like, okay, you know, it was probably nothing. Like, you ignore it and then you don't pay it any more mind again. So super creepy either way. Thank you for submitting those stories. I did really enjoy them, and they were all really scary this time around. I really liked the one where she sent us a video in, because that one was really creepy, and you literally cannot make out anything. It's like super dark, because if you were to look out and see somebody out there, you could kind of tell like who it is and that it's like a person, but that thing was just like a blob, like of darkness, and it just literally sank down and it was gone into the nothingness. That one was really creepy. I have been really enjoying reading you guys' stories, so please make sure to keep sending them in. And if you know anybody who has had paranormal experiences, let them know to write into my email, because I would love to read your stories. And just as a reminder, the email to send those paranormal stories is right here. It is beyondbelleza@gmail.com. So make sure you send those in so I could read them and you could be featured in these videos for this series. And now, before I end the video, today's comment shout out is gonna go to this person right here. Thank you so much for leaving a nice comment. I always do appreciate it when you guys interact with my videos. It really does make my day. And as always, if you want to be the next comment shout out, all you have to do is leave me a nice comment below, and that's it. With that being said, you guys, thank you so much for being here watching. I appreciate you and love you all so much. Don't forget to stay safe and be kind. Bye bye.